Hello everyone, my name is Amanda Arnold, and I would like to welcome you to your training session on Australia before you begin your new journey as a leader in a new country. A new start can be very scary, but hopefully through this training you'll be able to gain some knowledge that will help you to transition easily. Today we will be talking about Australia's cultural values, egalitarianism, greeting habits, the communication style and management styles of Australians. We will also discuss the dress code and proper etiquette to use when interacting with others. Lastly, we will talk about the best way to implement changes and the traits of an outstanding leader. Australia is a diverse country much like the United States. You'll see that we have similar values. They have a variety of religions, they speak various languages, and their history is very diverse as well. Some of the things that we value here in the United States is our independence, equality, informality, and directness. In the Australian culture, they value freedom, equality, just like us here in the United States, equal opportunity, and the pursuit of the public good. This is all very similar to what we value here. What you'll notice is the pursuit of the public good really plays into the egalitarianism belief that they follow. So Australians are known for embracing an egalitarian lifestyle. By definition, egalitarianism is the belief in human equality, especially with respect to social, political, and economic affairs. You will see this a lot in the workplace. It'll also come into play later in this PowerPoint, so you'll get a couple little bits of that in some of the future slides. In Australia, it is a customary business practice to shake a person's right hand when greeting them. Much like here in the United States, they appreciate eye contact, but it is important not to stare. That is considered rude. And this is the practice that we do here in the United States, so this shouldn't be anything new for you. It is polite to use your manners, so say please and thank you, as well as sorry and excuse me when talking with others. In business and professional settings in Australia, it tends to be more formal and they use titles. But for the most part, they are pretty informal in their interactions. It is very common to address people by their first name only, and it is found pretentious if you call out your own titles. So, just keep any of your own titles to yourself until later on as you're getting to know these people and build their relationships with them. As far as communication goes, Australians tend to be direct, which comes off as blunt or rude at times. If you are not direct, it can come off as being evasive. So just speak directly with your employees and you'll have their attention. However, you do not want to come off as if you are bragging or overselling yourself, so make sure not to promote yourself too much. Much like, don't drop titles. They don't want you promoting yourself. When meeting someone for the first time, it is important that you do not discuss any personal matters. Save that for later after you've started to build relationships with these individuals. Humor is a completely acceptable behavior in Australia. In fact, it is expected in almost all situations. Do not be afraid to use humor, and do not be offended by someone if they use humor in what seems like it might be an inappropriate situation. Australians are known for using slang words. I have provided a handout with some common words and phrases that may be helpful in your daily interactions at work. I have also attached them into this PowerPoint. We won't spend too much time on those, as you will have a reference to look back on later. Some of the things that I just want to pull out here is The dog's breakfast, it's used to describe when something is a mess or a complete failure. So if they're referring to that when it comes to business, that's a big thing. Sickie, I found this one a little bit entertaining. It means taking a day off work by feigning sickness, but it can also be taken for genuine reasons. A smoko, which refers to a 5 to 10 minute break, traditionally taken for smoking a cigarette or a tea break. So if you hear that, just understand that they're taking a quick break. That may be just standard policy for them. Another thing, chew the fat to have a long and enjoyable conversation with somebody. So just a couple to keep in mind for when you're over there having a conversation. If any of these words come up, they might ring a bell and it may mean more than what you think it means. So have this with you and just kind of use it as a reference. As far as the management style goes in Australia, it is important to treat everyone in the organization as equals and with respect. We're pulling in that egalitarianism again. In Australia, managers are very task-oriented. They do not micromanage their staff. They just assign tasks and they let their employees do their job. And they also understand that the success of the company is because of everybody that works there. So it's not just they are successful, they've made the company successful. It's all of the employees that bring the success to the company. Australians value and recognize the specialized knowledge of all employees at all levels. And communication will be more effective if you remember this. So make sure that you're taking others' inputs, even if they're under you. Take their input, value their knowledge. They've had a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge gained while working in the company. Adherence to one's schedule is expected in Australia. Tardiness is considered rude, but early is very much appreciated. It is not unusual for a manager to expect his or her employees to work overtime to meet deadlines. This could mean working late, coming in early, or even coming in on the weekends. They want to make sure that they're meeting their deadlines in order to become successful, to satisfy their customers. It's a very important thing for them. As far as the dress code goes, the dress code in the workplace depends on the type of work the organization does. So it could be business professional, or it could be more relaxed and what you would wear in your everyday life. So just adapt to that and make sure that you're not overdressing or underdressing in these situations. In an office setting, it's generally required that you dress in a neatly and very modestly. However, in public, it is acceptable for you to express yourself by wearing whatever you feel most comfortable in. It is also acceptable for one to wear religious garments. As far as etiquette goes, when greeting someone, just simply say hello. You may be greeted by someone in Australia with a good day or a good day, mate. While this is acceptable for an Australian person, to say it can sound patronizing from a foreigner. So stick with your normal greetings that you use here in the United States. Appointments are necessary. However, an appointment can be rescheduled. But it is much appreciated that you give as much lead time as possible. Because they like to stick to their schedule, it's important that you're making sure to set an appointment up in advance so it gives them time to work it into their schedule. Again, it's very important to be punctual. It's better to be early than to ever be late. In business settings, facts and figures are important. There is no room for emotions or feelings when it comes to business. So state the facts, get down to the point. They are not really interested in small talk. So when it comes to these business interactions, Australians are going to get down to business pretty quickly. Don't take that offensively. That's just the way they are accustomed to doing things. And high-pressure techniques are not appreciated. So find ways to sell things to them without pushing it on them. If you're looking to sell a change to them, Don't pressure them with a high-pitched sale. Make sure that you're just talking to them and giving them the benefit of the doubt so that they can make the decision on their own. As far as changes, when it comes to making changes, you should change habits. Don't try to change their values. Australians have a high readiness for change. They usually have the mindset that change brings improvements to the organization. However, it is important that you change bad habits, not values. So focus on those bad habits and how we can improve them. Values are deeply rooted, so you want to make sure that you're respecting their values. The traits of an outstanding leader in Australia are much like they are here in the United States. The traits that make a great leader are communication, honesty, confidence, a positive attitude, commitment, humility, and inspiration. If you are honest and have a positive attitude and communicate well, you will find that your interactions with employees will be effortless. Inheriting some, if not all, of these traits you will find that you will be a very successful leader. Tap into these traits while leading in Australia. If you are honest, just make sure that you're telling them exactly how you feel, what you think. When you commit to something, follow through with it. And it's okay to make a mistake, own up to it. And definitely try to inspire them. If you run into any concerns, we are always here for any support and guidance you may need, so do not hesitate to reach out. This is going to be a little frightening because it's a completely different place. It's not something you're used to. So just go over there accepting things and know that they want you there just as much as we want you there. I believe you will be successful in your tasks, and I wish you the best of luck.